I was late to my girlfriend Jessica's birthday party because of an emergency. By the time I rushed into the private room at the Vibe Box Karaoke Lounge, she was already in the middle of a full-blown meltdown in front of all her friends. Ethan, do you have any idea what date is? I was still catching my breath. I know. I'm so sorry. Something came up. My uncle was in a car accident. He drove into a ditch and they had to rush him to the ICU. It's bad, Jess. I've been at the hospital this whole time. I tried calling to let you know, but your phone went straight to voicemail. Is your battery dead? Jessica's face went from angry to furious. If you knew it was my birthday, my one important day, how could you still be late? Do you have any idea how long my friends have been waiting for you? You made me look like a complete idiot in front of everyone. I've never been so humiliated. I just stood there stunned. It was like she hadn't heard a word I said. Jess, did you not hear me? My uncle is in the ICU. He could be. Your phone was off, and I was worried you'd be waiting, so I ran all the way over here to tell you in person. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left the hospital at all. Jessica just scoffed. Oh, I heard you. So he fell into a ditch. Big deal. I thought you were going to say he fell into a septic tank. In your world, is your uncle in the hospital more important than my birthday? He's in the ICU, not the morgue. What are you doing here, trying to win some kind of dutiful nephew award? A hot flash of anger went through me. What kind of horrible thing was that to say? I always knew she could be a bit of a princess, but I never thought she was this selfish, this cruel. She didn't even seem to notice the change in my expression as she kept ranting. I need a boyfriend who shows up when I need him, who makes me happy, who makes me look good. Not some useless loser who bails on his girlfriend's birthday and then tries to ruin the mood with some depressing story about his uncle in the ICU. Her friend, Veronica, chimed in from the side. Ethan, I'm not trying to attack you, but you know Jess. She's all about the experience, the special moments. All her friends are here. Did you really expect her to cut the cake and blow out the candles by herself? How embarrassing would that be? Hearing her friend's support, Jessica acted like she was the victim of some great injustice and doubled down. Ronnie's right. Ethan, look me in the eye and tell me, what good are you if you can't even provide basic emotional support? What is the point of you? You're not even useful as decoration. Veronica immediately jumped back in. Exactly, Jess. What's the point of dating nowadays if you're not going to be cherished, to be put on a pedestal? A guy who ditches you on the most important day of the year? Girl, dump him already. What are you waiting for? Fueled by the encouragement, Jessica's anger boiled over. She grabbed a bottle of champagne from the table and smashed it on the floor. Cat got your tongue? Nothing to say for yourself. If you can't give me what I need, then get lost. Stop standing there ruining my night. Ethan, this is your official notice. We're over. I nodded without a moment's hesitation. After the way she'd acted tonight, if she hadn't broken up with me, I would have broken up with her. But before I left, I was so angry I had to ask one more thing. Jessica, are you telling me that a birthday party, something you have every single year, is more important than a family member's life? Yes, she screamed. Forget your uncle. Even if it were my own family, my birthday party would still be more important. Hearing that, I felt a sense of profound relief. I must have been blind to have dated a monster like her. Breaking up was for the best. I felt nothing, not a single shred of regret. Then goodbye, Jessica, for good. With that, I turned and walked out of the room. I'd only taken a few steps down the hall when my phone buzzed. The caller ID showed it was Mrs. Jenkins, Jessica's neighbor. Mrs. Jenkins was a nurse at Denver General, and I had just seen her at the hospital when I was visiting my uncle. My stomach clenched, worried something had happened to him. I cursed myself for leaving the hospital for someone as selfish as Jessica. I quickly answered the phone. Mrs. Jenkins' voice was frantic. Ethan, are you with Jessica? Her parents took her little brother for a day trip to their cabin in the foothills. The boy was playing around and managed to fall through the cover of the old septic tank. His mom went in after him, and she fell in too. Then his dad went in to save them both, and he fell in. The whole family was in there for 2 hours before anyone found them. The ambulance just brought them to the ICU. Ethan, it's critical. I've been calling Jessica, but her phone is off. You have to get her to the hospital now. Please hurry. If she waits, she might not get to see them one last time. Chapter 2, I was floored by the news. What the hell? Her entire family fell into a septic tank, and she wanted me to go tell her? I had literally just broken up with her. My parting words were goodbye for good. For a second, I was torn, but that second passed, and my basic human decency won out. Jessica was an asshole, but her parents and her brother didn't deserve this. And from the sound of Mrs. Jenkins' voice, their situation was dire. No matter how you looked at it, the right thing to do was to tell Jessica to get to the hospital immediately. She could be a monster, but I didn't have to be one, too. I spun around and hurried back to the karaoke room. When Jessica saw me return, a smug, triumphant smirk spread across her face. "What, Ethan? Can't bear to break up with me? You came crawling back to beg for my forgiveness. In your dreams." I didn't have time for her games. I spoke urgently. "Jessica, your mom fell into the septic tank. Your dad fell into the septic tank. Your brother fell into the septic tank. Your whole family is in the septic tank. You need to go home. No, wait, go straight to the hospital." Her expression instantly darkened. She grabbed a slice of watermelon from a fruit platter and hurled it at my head. "Your mom fell into a septic tank. Your whole family fell into a septic tank." I dodged the flying fruit. "No, your family. Your family really fell into the septic tank." Jessica was trembling with rage. "Shut your filthy mouth. Ethan, I never realized you were this disgusting. Just because I broke up with you, you're going to stand there and curse my entire family?" Veronica chimed in again. "Seriously, can you not be so gross? We're trying to eat here. Are you trying to ruin the party on purpose?" I was completely baffled. How did my trying to help turn into me ruining the party? Was I not being clear enough? Fine, I'll say it again. "Jessica." She shot me a glare. "What?" I said very seriously. "Your mom fell into the septic tank. Your whole family fell into the septic tank. Forget about this stupid birthday party." "You shut up," Jessica shrieked, lunging at me with her nails out. Chapter 3, I saw her coming and quickly stepped aside. Jessica wouldn't give up, chasing after me, still trying to scratch me. Thankfully, a few of her other friends grabbed her and held her back. But she was still fuming. "Ethan, is this because I yelled at you about your uncle? You're holding a grudge, so you came back here just to say disgusting things to me? Whatever your problem is, take it up with me. What did my family ever do to you that you'd curse them with something so vile?" I was speechless. Telling her the truth was now a vile curse. Honestly, I wanted to just walk away, but when I thought about her poor family, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I decided to try one last time. "Jessica." She must have known what was coming, because she cut me off immediately. "If you say that again, don't blame me for what happens next." I took a deep breath. She didn't want me to say it, but I had to. I promised Mrs. Jenkins I would get Jessica to the hospital. So, under the confused stares of everyone in the room, I opened my mouth. "Your whole family fell into the septic tank." "Ark," Jessica screamed like a lunatic. "Let me go. I'm going to kill him." She broke free from her friends and charged at me like a wild animal. Chapter 4 in a flash, Jessica's hand shot out and raked across my neck, leaving a sharp, stinging scratch. That did it. I was furious. It wasn't just that she'd scratched me. It was that her family was fighting for their lives, and she was in here acting like a crazy person. It seemed like she really needed a reality check. I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face. "Are you an idiot? Your entire family fell into a septic tank. Don't you understand English?" The slap seemed to stun her into silence. It made sense, I guess. In all the time we'd been together, I'd never so much as raised my voice at her. She probably never imagined I would actually hit her. But the look of pure rage on my face was enough to make her afraid. She stumbled backward and collapsed onto the sofa, bursting into loud, theatrical sobs. "Ethan, how could you? How could you bully me like this? First you cursed my family, and now you hit me?" Her friends immediately rushed over to comfort her. Veronica yelled, "He hit her. Don't let him leave. Security, security, get in here." A moment later, the lounge manager and 2 security guards rushed into the room. Seeing the scene, the manager discreetly pulled me aside. "Hey man, what's going on? We have a zero-tolerance policy for fighting." I felt helpless. I pointed at Jessica and told the manager everything. I had to hit her. I had no choice. Her dad fell into a septic tank. Her mom fell into a septic tank. Her little brother fell into a septic tank. And she's still in here celebrating her birthday. It's insane. The story was probably so bizarre that the manager just stared at me, dumbfounded. Jessica, meanwhile, covered her ears and sobbed. Ethan, okay, I was wrong. All right, I shouldn't have said what I said about your uncle. I was wrong. I'm sorry, I'm really, really sorry. Please, just be the bigger person and go. Stop cursing my family. I'm begging you. Veronica was still fanning the flames. Ethan, just because Jess called you out, you're going to cause a scene and hit her? What kind of a man are you? My head was spinning. Seriously? Were Jessica and Veronica both dropped on their heads as children? I was speaking plain English. There was no ambiguity. Why couldn't they understand? Wait, I know. I could call Mrs. Jenkins and have her tell Jessica. I pulled out my phone. Your whole family fell into the septic tank, and I've got someone who can prove it. I dialed Mrs. Jenkins' number. Ring, ring, ring. Voicemail. Of course. I tried a few more times, but there was no answer. Thinking she was probably busy saving lives, I gave up. Seeing my failed attempt, Veronica let out a cold laugh. Looks like your little act fell apart. Where's your witness? Her sarcastic tone made my blood boil. This girl, Veronica, as a best friend, she had never been a good influence on Jessica. All she ever did was feed her toxic nonsense, turning her into an arrogant, entitled brat. And now, even at a time like this, she was still making things worse. I snapped. Her dad fell into the septic tank. Her mom fell into the septic tank. Her brother fell into the septic tank. Her whole family fell into the septic tank. And you're in here encouraging her to act like a lunatic. You're an idiot. With that, I stormed out of the room. I had delivered the message. Whether Jessica went to the hospital or not was her problem now. Muttering under my breath about idiots, I walked out of the karaoke lounge. I hadn't gotten far when my phone rang again. Chapter 5 this time. It was Jessica's uncle, Frank. The second I picked up, he was already yelling, Ethan, what the hell is wrong with you two? Her parents and brother are in the ICU. It's been hours. Why isn't she here yet? Oh, that's right. It's her birthday today. Don't you dare tell me you're still celebrating. I felt a wave of frustration. Why was he yelling at me? Of course, he didn't know that Jessica and I had just broken up. Her family was clearly under a lot of stress, so there was no need to add to it. I replied, Jessica is still at her party, yes. I know what happened to her family. I tried to get her to go to the hospital, but she won't listen to me. Uncle Frank was taken aback. She won't listen? That's right. She told me that even her own family isn't as important as her birthday party. He exploded. That little brat. She needs a good thrashing. Uncle Frank, if she won't listen, there's not much more I can do. I'm on my way to the hospital now myself, so I have to go. Hearing that, his tone softened immediately. Ethan, you're a good kid. I can't believe that girl, their own daughter, is less reliable than her boyfriend. Wait, what? I was a little confused. Okay, he must think I'm going to see Jessica's family. But I was actually going to check on my own uncle. Whatever. Now wasn't the time to explain. Over the phone, Uncle Frank asked, where are you now? I answered honestly, on Ocean Boulevard, right outside the Vibox Karaoke Lounge. I just left her party. Okay, don't come to the hospital yet. Go back in there and tell her this. Her mother's not doing well. It's extremely critical. If she wants to see her mom one last time, she needs to get over here right now. And tell her, I said that if she's not at the hospital in 30 minutes, I'm coming over there myself to drag her out by her hair. The nerve of that girl. Hey, wait a minute. I started to protest, but he'd already hung up. I stood there on the sidewalk, once again torn. Why should I go back and subject myself to that again, just for someone like Jessica, who treats kindness like an insult? Thinking about her smug, awful face made me want to go back in there and slap her again. That's it. I'm not going. I started walking away, but after a few steps, I stopped. From what her uncle said, it sounded like her mom really might not make it. As terrible as Jessica was, her mother was a sweet woman. Whenever I'd visited their house, she always went out of her way to cook for me. Now she was lying in a hospital bed, and I knew she'd want to see her daughter one last time. With a heavy sigh, I gritted my teeth and turned around. Like I said before, Jessica might be a monster, but I didn't have to be one, too. Chapter 6, when I got back to the room, I could hear loud music and laughter from inside. I was seething. At a time like this, she was still partying? I kicked the door open and yelled, Jessica, your mother is dying. The room fell silent. Everyone just stared at me, frozen. After a few seconds, Jessica's face crumpled in despair. Ethan, what is wrong with you? I said one thing about your uncle. And how many times have you cursed my mom now? I was both furious and exasperated. A curse? How could she still not get it? I tried to drill it into her head. Your mom is dying. Your mom is dying. Your mom is really, actually dying. Jessica's whole body trembled, her face pale. She pointed a shaky finger at me. Are you even human? If you want to yell at me, fine, but leave my family out of it. My mom has always been so nice to you. First you curse her about a septic tank, and now you're cursing her to die. I was about to lose my mind. God, why? Why was she so convinced I was just trying to hurt her? To be honest, at this point, I really did want to curse her out. You idiot! I roared. Your mother is dying. Do you not understand English? Your mom is on her deathbed and you're in here partying? Are you an animal? My words sent Jessica over the edge. She charged at me again, and we started struggling. You're the idiot. You're the animal. I'll teach you to curse my mom. I'll teach you. The scene devolved into chaos. Even after her friends pulled us apart, she was still screaming at me. She was absolutely convinced that I was just cursing her mother. Seeing this, I finally gave up. I had done what I could. I had said what I needed to say. If she refused to listen, there was nothing more I could do. I turned to leave, but this time Veronica stepped in front of the door, blocking my way. You're not going anywhere. You came in here 3 times to cause trouble, insulted and cursed Jess's family, and you even hit her. You think you could just walk away from that? She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. I was completely petrified. Are you serious? I came here to help her, and now I'm the one getting accused of harassment? I warned Veronica. She's an idiot, but are you one too? Are you too incapable of understanding plain English? Or are your brains filled with actual garbage? Her mother is dying. I'll say it one more time. Her mother is dying. You call the cops, and they'll take us all down to the station. You'll be the reason Jessica doesn't get to see her mother one last time. Are you prepared to be responsible for that? She really isn't scared of her family coming here and tearing her limb from limb, is she? Veronica just sneered. Oh, stop it. Anyone can tell you're just making up curses to hurt her. First you pretend you have a witness, but you just fumbled with your phone and couldn't produce anyone. Now you're trying to scare us with her family? You're pathetic. They all surrounded me, determined to wait for the police. Seeing how things were, I stopped trying to argue. I plopped down on the sofa. Fine, we'll wait for the police. Let's see who ends up looking like the fool. My uncle was in the hospital, but I knew he was stable. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come here in the first place. But if Jessica didn't get to see her mother one last time, I couldn't imagine how she would live with herself. Jessica was still wailing, playing the victim. Veronica went over to comfort her. Jess, stop crying. Men are all the same. They're all trash. You just broke up, and he's already treating you like this. But you still have us, right? We're best friends. We'll always have your back. I sat there listening, my brow furrowed. Damn it. If it weren't for this best friend fanning the flames, things might not have gotten so out of hand. Jessica might have already been at the hospital. I had been trying to ignore them, but she just kept pushing it. I finally snapped back. Veronica, you're a real piece of work. A great friend. Her mom is dying, and this is what you do. Think about it. What if it were your mom dying and Jessica was acting like this? How would you feel? My words hit a nerve. Veronica's face twisted in anger, but she was smarter than Jessica. She wouldn't just lunge at me. Instead, she started in with her passive-aggressive nonsense. You know, some people are just so fake. You see them and think they're decent, but it's all just an act. Just because a girl breaks up with him, he starts spewing all sorts of filth, cursing her family. And when I try to comfort my friend and de-escalate, I get cursed too. I couldn't listen to any more of it. I stood up and kicked the cake off the coffee table, sending it splattering against the wall. Who cursed her family? You think everyone is a monster like her. Her mom is dying. Her mom is really, truly dying. For all I know, her dad could die. Her brother could die. Her whole family, except for her, could die. Are you all brain dead? Can't you understand? The second the words left my mouth, something flew past my head. Jessica, who had been sobbing a moment ago, had gone berserk again. Ethan, you've gone too far. I'm going to rip that filthy mouth right off your face. Chapter 7. I ducked as a liquor bottle whizzed past my head. That was close. If that had hit me, I'd definitely be bleeding right now. The sheer injustice of it all made me explode. Jessica, you're still acting crazy. Your mother is dying. If you throw one more thing at me, I swear I won't hold back. But Jessica wasn't listening. She was still trying to charge at me, nails out. Suddenly, there was a sharp knock at the door. Veronica, ever the schemer, grabbed Jessica just as she was about to reach me. Jess, it's probably the police. Don't fall for his trap. He's trying to provoke you into hitting him in front of them. She gave Jessica a knowing look. Jessica immediately understood. She dropped to the floor and started wailing, putting on a show of a poor, helpless, bullied victim. I had to admit, she was a hell of an actress. Veronica shot me a look that said, "You're finished," and went to open the door. But, to her disappointment, it wasn't the police. It was Jessica's uncle, Frank. He peered into the room, his face dark with fury. "So you really are here?" Veronica was confused. Jessica, sitting on the floor, was even more confused. "Uncle Frank, what are you doing here?" He scowled. "What do you think?" Jessica, still completely clueless, said, "Did you know it was my birthday and come to celebrate?" Then, as if she finally had backup, she pointed a finger at me. "Uncle Frank, Ethan hit me. Just because I broke up with him, he hit me." Uncle Frank's eyes narrowed. "Broke up?" Jessica nodded. "Yeah. His uncle is in the hospital, so he bailed on my birthday party." "What good is a boyfriend like that? You're just in time. Teach him a lesson for me." Chapter 8. I almost laughed out loud from the sheer absurdity of it all. "Jessica, I dare you to say, with a straight face, that I hit you because we broke up. Your mother is dying, and you're in here acting like a child. I told you to go to the hospital, but you wouldn't listen. You attacked me first." Jessica jumped up and screamed, "My behavior is none of your damn business. Uncle Frank, this asshole has been running his mouth all night. He deserves to be taught a lesson." Uncle Frank let out a cold, humorless laugh. "An asshole does need to be taught a lesson." He reached down and started unbuckling his thick leather belt. Jessica shot me a triumphant glare, as if to say, "You're about to get it." But in the next second, Uncle Frank's hand flew out, and he slapped Jessica so hard she spun around and collapsed on the floor. Everyone in the room was stunned into silence. A moment later, Uncle Frank started whipping the belt down on Jessica over and over. "You little brat, your mother is dying in the hospital, and you're in here partying. Mrs. Jenkins had Ethan pass on a message, and you wouldn't listen. I had Ethan warn you, and you still wouldn't listen. You animal, I should beat you to death." Jessica shrieked in pain, but more than the pain, her face was a mask of utter confusion. It seemed like she was finally starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, I hadn't been cursing her family, but she still couldn't believe it. "Uncle Frank, stop. Stop hitting me," she screamed. "Are you drunk? What are you talking about? My mom is fine. Why would she be dying?" This only made him angrier. "Didn't Ethan tell you? Your mom fell into the septic tank, and so did your dad and your brother." This time, Jessica was completely thunderstruck. She finally understood. Everything I had been saying was true. A loud sob escaped her, but it was impossible to tell if it was from the pain of the belt or from genuine fear for her family. Veronica, who had been frozen in shock, finally snapped out of it and rushed to her side. "Jess, don't cry. It's your birthday. You can't cry. You have to be happy." I just stood there, speechless. Good Lord. This girl, Veronica, must have a brick for a brain to say something so insane. Be happy? At a time like this? Apparently, even Jessica couldn't stomach that. She shoved her best friend away with all her might. "Veronica, if it weren't for you egging me on, I might have gone to the hospital hours ago. My mom is dying, and you're telling me to be happy? If your mom were dying, would you be happy?" The shove sent Veronica stumbling backward, and she fell to the floor. Her face immediately turned black with rage. "So now this is my fault, Jessica? You were the one complaining about Ethan being late. You were the one who thought he was cursing you. And besides, your family fell into a septic tank. It's not like I pushed them in. It was their own fault for not being careful. They got what they deserved." Jessica turned beet red. Who got what they deserved? She lunged forward and grabbed a handful of Veronica's hair. Veronica, not one to back down, grabbed Jessica's hair in return. The two plastic best friends, who moments ago were united against me, were now tearing each other apart. It took several people to finally pull them apart. Veronica was still fuming. "Jessica, you are such a hypocrite. When Ethan's uncle was in the hospital, what did you say? You said, he's in the ICU, not the morgue. You said he was just faking his concern. Well, your mom isn't in the morgue yet either, so I guess you're just a fake too. Veronica's comeback was so sharp, I almost applauded. Looks like her brain wasn't entirely broken after all. She had a point. From that perspective, Jessica really was a massive hypocrite. Jessica was speechless for a moment, then could only manage to scream, "You bitch! You're the hypocrite! Your whole family is full of hypocrites." "That's enough," Uncle Frank roared. "You still have the energy to fight. Get up. We're going to the hospital." Jessica finally scrambled to her feet. But just as she and her uncle reached the door, 2 police officers walked in. "Who called 911 about a fight?" Terrified of being delayed, Jessica waved her hands frantically. "It's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. No one was fighting. Everything's fine here, you can go." But the officers were experienced. One look at the trashed room told them she was lying. Just then, Veronica stepped forward. "I'm the one who called." She pointed a finger at Jessica. "Officer, this crazy woman assaulted me. I want you to arrest her." "What the?" This time, it wasn't just Jessica. Everyone in the room felt their brain short-circuit. Wasn't Veronica going to press charges against me for hitting Jessica? Why had she switched to accusing Jessica? After a moment of confusion, I saw the venomous look on Veronica's face and understood. It seems that when best friends, like them, turn on each other, they become more vicious than they are to anyone else. She was doing this purely to get revenge on Jessica for blaming her and for the humiliation of being pushed to the floor. Jessica was desperate to leave. Her tone softened as she pleaded with Veronica. "Ronnie, you know the situation with my family. Can we please not do this right now?" Veronica sneered. "Who's doing anything? What does your family situation have to do with me? They're just in the ICU. It's not like they're in the morgue. The fact is, you hit me first, and you're going to have to explain that down at the station." She then turned to the officers. "What are you standing around for? Arrest this psycho. Put her in handcuffs." One of the officers gave her a stern look. "Ma'am, we have our own procedures. We don't need you to tell us how to do our jobs." Hearing Veronica's words, Jessica finally broke. "Veronica, I never knew you could be so evil," she screamed. "I must have been blind to ever call you my friend. I thought to myself, when it comes to being evil, you two are 2 peas in a pod." Seeing that the drama was never ending, Uncle Frank finally stepped up. "Officers, our situation is a bit unique, and we really are in a hurry. How about this? I'll have this young man here explain everything that happened." He motioned for me to come forward. "Ethan, I just got here. Could you please tell the officers the whole story?" So, I quickly and concisely recounted the entire sequence of events. When I got to the part about Jessica refusing to go to the hospital because of her birthday party, one of the officers shot her a look of such disgust, it was clear he wanted to throttle her himself. When I finished, I said sincerely, "Officers, considering her family's current condition, is it possible to let her go to the hospital first and deal with this later?" Hearing my words, Jessica looked up, a flicker of gratitude in her eyes. Uncle Frank also promised, "Don't worry, as soon as things at home are settled, I'll personally bring her to the station." The 2 officers nodded. "All right, we can be reasonable. Given the circumstances, you can take her to the hospital. The rest can be handled later. Do you have a car? It can be tough to get a ride this time of night. We can give you a lift if you need one." "Thank you. Thank you, we have a car," Uncle Frank said gratefully, pulling a still-dazed Jessica out the door. Since I was also heading to the hospital, I followed them. In Uncle Frank's car, Jessica said quietly, looking ashamed, "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I completely misunderstood you today. Maybe we could start over." The moment I heard that, I yelled, "Uncle Frank, could you please pull over for a second?" The car stopped, and I immediately jumped out and started running. Jessica was confused. "Ethan, what's wrong?" I yelled back over my shoulder as I ran. "In your dreams. A selfish, cruel person like you will never, ever deserve me.